Welcome to Virtual Coffee with Dawn Rickabaugh, the NoteQueen, where we talk about owner financing and notes. Financial solutions, one mom and pop to another.
Anything you left undone for the year better be done by now. I forgot to say that this is Dawn Rickabaugh hosting Virtual Coffee, anything having to do with owner financing and notes. I welcome you. I thank you for spending the time, whether you're live here with me or listening afterwards. It's really a privilege to have you participate and add your voice and your questions, because the more we all know, the more we understand and feel comfortable with this asset class, owner financing and notes, real estate related products, notes secured by real estate, notes secured by mobile homes. The better we understand this space, either from originating or the secondary market, the more people can play. Because the big problem is there's so much money. I think there's just, I don't know, millions and billions and trillions of dollars sitting even in self-directed IRAs that just sitting in cash. And or people sitting in a 1, 2, 3% CD annuity or whatever like that. And they don't, the problem is not that there's not enough money to go into these mom and pop deals that we talk about day in and day out. It's just that the people that have the money at 1, 2, and 3% don't have the mentality or the comfort level with this space, because it seems scary, because they don't know about it. And it's not really educated much about in mainstream, because mainstream can't make money putting you in these deals. They make money putting you in the annuities. They make money putting you in the stock markets and bonds and all the different things. So why would they educate you about investment options that they can't make money on? So it's really, I got to congratulate you for just hanging out with this conversation, because not everyone, sadly, is willing to take their own long-term wealth building and retirement plan into their own hands. So that's kind of what we're doing here, is just to make this topic accessible and palatable to more people, so that some of those people that are in the 1, 2, and 3% or sitting at zero, just sitting at cash in their account, can get involved and feel safe and comfortable. So I really feel passionately about this topic. And Axel's, let me just pause for a second, drink a cup of coffee, and any housekeeping, please, for people?
Absolutely. Call quality is really important during virtual coffee, so I will be moderating questions, any noise in the background. I'll give you a chance to mute yourself, and if you need some help, I'll help you. Again, any questions, you can comment them to me, or you can send me an email at axel@notequeen.com, and I will relay those over to Dawn.
Thank you, Axel. I always appreciate you being here and making sure these things happen. Is my screen shared? All right, so most of you know that I do an annual conference, and we just finished that earlier this month. It was our 3rd annual event up at South Lake Tahoe, and I got to tell you, every year, especially this year, I have had so much going on in my personal life that I was pretty stressed out, actually. And by the time I get around to thinking of the conference, I'm going, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Is anyone even going to come? Blah, blah, blah. And I am just always blown away by the amount of support. It's almost like this thing is getting a life of its own. And I'm just here to sort of facilitate and provide context and meaning and vision for the conversation, because I have these amazing people, and this is what I'm showing you. If you haven't created a login, I'm on the screen now. I don't know if you're listening in a podcast or what, but if you can look, I'm just going to show you how you can access you create a login, notequeen.com, login, create a login, and then you get to your dashboard. You become a citizen of the realm. I mean, how special is that? Okay. Anyway, so here's where I've aggregated all the free content. Links to resources is a great place to check. People ask me, well, who are servicers? What about this? What other sorts of hardware, software tools do you use? Who do you think I should talk to about non-performing notes? So you don't teach about it, but who does? And I mean, all of that I'm trying to aggregate in that one place. So there's a lot of value to be had there. A note appraisal course was one of the first things I ever put together, but it's like a mini course in notes all in it of itself. And then here at the bottom, Property and Paper Summit. This is where you can, when we have it ready. Axel, what sort of timeline are we on, do you think? I know it's a huge job to edit all the videos from the conference.
I should be up by November 1st.
Wow, in a week. All right, so fantastic. So then there's a lot of value you can get here. And, you know, people have told me I should charge, for people to watch these videos. And I probably should. I don't know. There's no right or wrong, but here's the deal. For the few little bucks I could make, maybe monetizing this content, it's not like I'm giving up anything, because I got to tell you, if you're not at live events, there's only so much you can do from behind your computer, especially when you're getting started. The value of these sorts of events is being in the room, rubbing shoulders, feeling the energy, having those little conversations at lunch and networking at night, and on the breaks. And you get the little stories of people just like you that are either starting or down the road or very sophisticated, but now they want to do this. There's a ton of sharing. So it's not like, oh, I'm giving away. You don't even have to come to the conference to get the value. No. And so to me, it's more valuable for anyone who is interested to have access to these concepts and just inspire you to take it a little bit further, open your mind a little bit, just so that more of us can play in this space. Like I was saying in the beginning, it's so that the people that are at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4% can learn how to go to 4, 5, 6, 7% on a really super conservative type investment. Or if you want to start hanging around and you want to make 8, 9, 10, and then if you're the rainmaker and you make your own deals, it's double digits and unlimited infinity return. So there's all these different stages. So this is really high value. I'm telling you, I was blown away with the value of the conference for me, because I get all these wonderful people like Mike Rosica and Gordon Moss and David Kurtzman and Abby Shemesh, Amerinote Exchange. That dude is amazing, right? He is just hot. He's very bright, very sharp, one of the master note brokers in this space. And oh my God, and Tom Henderson, he was freaking hilarious. I love that guy. Oh, it was just so much fun. So anyway, that's a lot of value for you to get. And I hope, even though it's free, I hope you realize the kind of value that's from listening to those videos. So we got 17, 18, and soon 2019 up there for you to consume for free. All right, and so then just to that point, I want to bring up so here's Mike Rosica, non-performing notes, right? I have been really kind of, well, you know what? The truth is, if you manage a portfolio of performing notes long enough, you get into the non-performing space. Like right now, we're taking back, I have 3 active foreclosures going on. I have 1 long distance rehab going on in Missouri. Probably I'll have another one before too long. I hope not in the winter. Oh my God, I hope not in the winter. But to buy non-performing notes, I've only done a couple because but anyway, I learned so much about, and between Gordon Moss and Mike Rosica, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to focus on adding a few non-performing junior liens that are behind performing first. I'm going to add that to my 2020 goal. So I learned so much by these people that just come on their own dime. On their own dime, they come and they share, and nobody has a big agenda. We just love the space, and that's the culture and the value I want to keep passing forward. So go over to noteconference.com, sign up there. I think it's like ridiculously cheap for the value you get to connect with his program. Also, Gordon Moss, this is his realestateandnoteinvesting.com. Go sign up and be on his email list. After right after the Tahoe conference, I went to Las Vegas. Like I had a day and a half at home. This is crazy. And then I got on the plane and went down to Las Vegas for his 2-day class. And I'll tell you what, I am really glad I went. The overall perspective is invaluable. Not just the little details and the minutia of how to do things. It's the how to think about things overall in your life and your investing. And I find myself repeating, the things that I've learned from other people just this month and over the years. I love all my, oh gosh, Tom. Let's see, here's Tom's site. Tom Henderson is one of the old veterans in the industry. So hpnotes.com. hpnotes.com. Go sign up for his newsletter. And if you don't go and buy his little note professor stuff that he has, I'm telling you, you can pay $20,000 if you want. And there's value to that too. But you don't realize sometimes if you don't pay a lot, you think it's not worth a lot. It is not true. These are some of the veterans and the old school stuff that I was suckled on basically back in the mid 90s and early 2000s. And I'm actually still getting up the courage, to leave my nursing job. These are the people. These are the types of people. And you really should go buy everything he's got on his site and get on his newsletter. And I hope his health allows him to be with us again next year. It is absolutely gold. The kind of things and funny. Oh my gosh, he just kept us all laughing. Hilarious. Okay, so those are the kind of things that I wanted to just quickly go over. Axel, has there been anything else that I should look at before I just look at the emails that we got?
We're okay. I don't have anything in particular.
All right. Did Charlie get on the phone? Who is there anyone that was at the conference that's live here on the call this morning?
I was there.
Who?
Sharon Morgan.
Sharon, hi.
Hi.
So great to have you on the call.
Thank you.
So that was all my big blah blah. What, from your perspective, that was your first year of being with us. What did you get out of it? Can you just give us the top nuggets?
Well, first of all, I'm impressed with you, so that's awesome in itself. Secondly, everything that you said about Mike Rosica and Tom Henderson and the others, it's all true. But I would agree with you that some of the best part of it, I'm impressed that I can go back to the past 2 years and look at the conferences online. But the best parts are getting to meet you and some of these key players in person and have lunch together and just say, okay, tell me again how you got going on that, or tell me more about this particular note. Right. So the being there in person was great.
Yeah, there's an energetic exchange that happens that's intangible, but very transformative, wouldn't you say?
I would. I agree.
Yeah, right. So anyway, yeah, I really enjoyed, because you and I at the dinner, was that Tuesday night after everything was done? That we sat together at dinner down at Riva Grill?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that conversation.
Yeah, that was nice.
Okay, well, great. Well, thank you for being here. Is there anything you wanted to bring up in particular, or you just anything I can answer?
No, I don't have any questions right now. Just here to learn.
Okay, great. So happy. Anybody else did Charlie make it on by chance?
Not yet. I sent him a text and an email, so I'm sorry.
He's so great. He's so funny. I'm just going to talk about it anyway, even if he doesn't get here. So Charlie was there, and he was on the lam. He's on the lam for. He's done very, very well. He's in Texas, I think in the Odessa, Midland area. And he's just done phenomenally well at buying large tracts of land, say, 100, 200, 300 at a time. Then you subdivide it into, depending on the size, 1 to 5 acres, then or 5 to 10 acres. And he subdivides it into those parcels. Then he sells them all on owner financing. And I think you don't even need a calculator to understand the type of returns that he's making. And so then he brought a deal, and he was at our place in South Lake Tahoe, and then he also was down in Las Vegas at Gordon's event. And between being at those 2 events, I hooked him up with somebody that I know that's in Lubbock that was very, very interested in partnering with him. And also Terrell Sheen from San Angelo, Texas was there. One of my favorite people of all time, really. I just get such a kick out of him. I don't know why, but old Texas guys seem to be the ones that just have been my mentors and espouse the values in the way of being that I would really love. Like super simple guys, but like, you know what, after a lifetime of following these conversations and implementing real estate and note investing and different strategies, they got more money than they know what to do with. But anyway, so Charlie was able to get hooked up with 2 viable joint venture partners on this deal that he had. He has 368 acres under contract, and he needs like $500,000 to close on it, and then needs a little bit of money. I don't even know what that takes in that county in Texas, but anyway, he can break that up into 5-10 acre parcels, sell those on owner carry, and I would say it's probably not an exaggeration to say that there's 40, 50, 60% returns on that sort of activity, if not more. So anyway, one of the values is he had a deal. He came to get a deal done, and it was really fun. I connected him with that gal yesterday, and she was like, "Oh, that's exactly what I've been wanting to get involved in." And she's got 3 kids, and she's got a lot on her plate. So that's just one way of playing this game, is buying land, subdividing, and just selling off the land. You don't even deal with the improvements and tenants, and you just got land, not even insurance, right? So that was he was pretty fun, really a great character to have at our event, and he was really good to Tom Henderson too. So, all right, let's go to, can you put a bank loan? Shirley. Is it Shirley Mitchell, or is that the last? Anyway, sorry. Can you put a bank loan and a small loan from the owner in a land trust if there are any consequences? Is this person, who's here? Who's actually here? Is Brittany here?
I'm Shirley Mitchell. I'm here.
Oh, hi.
That was my question.
Oh, well,
I'm very new.
Well, who are you?
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I missed what you said.
I was talking at the same time, so I kind of missed what you said. But I'm very new. I mean, I haven't done this, but I have someone that's selling their place, and I was like trying to see if I could use this technique. Basically, she's in Texas. She has a single family home. She has a loan of about 102. Her house is worth 290,000. And
okay,
and she money as far as so I was trying to see if she could if I would be able to get a loan. I mean, she would do a loan for me, a note.
Is this a friend?
I would sell
Is this an acquaintance? Someone?
He is a friend.
Do you know?
Yes, and I would find the buyer. To put
Okay,
in.
so this isn't for you to live in. This is just for you to, like, are you functioning as an investor, as a real estate agent, what?
As an investor.
An investor. Okay, and so is this guy friend, has he been living, is this his primary residence or
Yes,
an investment
it's
property?
her primary residence, and she wants to move. She wants to, downsize from the house. Yes.
Okay. What part of Texas, out of curiosity?
It's Cedar Hill.
Like
Okay, that's
Dallas area?
okay. It's south of Dallas. It's near like DeSoto. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Is it in the Metroplex or the suburban area surrounding Dallas, or is it kind of in the middle between
it's
somewhere
in the suburb.
in Houston?
Yeah. It's
Okay, gotcha.
It is. Mm-hmm.
All right. So what's the question again?
Okay. If she already has a mortgage on her home, and and she would have to create a note for her equity part of the property. I'm wondering, go ahead. Can that go into the land trust?
Well, yeah, you can do that. Sure. I mean, the banks have the right to look at that and call the note. That statistically happens maybe 2% of the time, so far as what I've heard, that when there's a change of ownership on title, when title changes hands, sometimes the trust sort of can obscure the transfer of title. Sometimes but even if you just did, it's like, transferred into my name. So far, it looks like about a 2% chance that it could get called or accelerated, meaning, hey, we have the right, but we don't have to, but we have the right. If we see that there's been an equitable title transfer, we have the right to call the note, say, hey, you need to pay us now or we'll start foreclosure. So that's always just one of those risk factors out there. But my first question, like for your friend, and is what do they need? Because then usually people, will usually, especially if it's been her house, she's got the homeowner's exemption there. She's got the 121 exclusion for capital gains and things like that. So usually people, if they want a retail price, they've either they just list with the realtor. So what does this friend need? Is there speed? Is there a lot of deferred maintenance? Where do you come in adding value to her versus her just listing it, getting market price, and it's done? Does she not need the cash? Does she just want out from under the mortgage? Does she need the monthly income without being a landlord that would come from carrying paper on this?
Yeah, she needs the income monthly.
So she needs monthly income more than a big pile of cash that she'll just sit on the bank and it'll lose value every month.
Right. Yes.
Okay. So that's good. It's good to know. most people need monthly income more than a big pile of cash they don't know what to do with. So, but they usually don't know that until you explore it. So, what are you hoping to do? Are you going to be a principal? Are you going to give her a down payment and, get terms from her and then turn around and sandwich stuff, or what?
Yeah, that's what I would like. But now that I'm hearing what you're saying, I mean, she is a friend. So if I could just help her, I would do that too, and not be a part of, of the sale.
Okay. Yeah. So someone you want her to be what?
I just want her, everything to work right in her life. So, whatever is best for her.
Right. So if now, if you have a real estate agent that understands owner financing and is comfortable in this space, they're worth their weight in gold. If they don't, they're a liability. Sometimes they won't even pass on an offer because they go, I don't understand that and I don't want that, and how do I get paid and all that silly stuff. But let's just say it's worth $290 and you can help her advertise on Zillow for sale by owner or whatever, just putting a sign out. I don't know what the neighborhood's like, right? So do you know the underlying terms of the note, that $100,000 balance? Do you know what that is?
No, I don't. I haven't gotten
that
information from her. Yeah.
So this is a perfect thing. A lot of times people go, okay, there's this property and they have a loan, and I just need to know what we can do. Well, the things I want everybody to get used to asking, whether you're an investor or a real estate agent, you should know the terms, the amount, the UPB, unpaid principal balance. You should know the terms, the balance and the terms of that note. Very important for just understanding options. And if the exchangers, the real estate exchangers, these guys know this inside and out. They're counselors. The most value they can bring to their client is that counseling process where they really take stock of not only the property, but also the underlying financing, if any, that's there. Super important. So you got to know what's PITI, what's principal, interest, taxes, insurance. I want to know what it takes to carry this property. And of course, if she takes her homeowner's exclusion somewhere else, is she moving somewhere else to Texas?
Yes, she's going to move to Texas. Yes, she is going to stay in the area.
She's going to stay in Texas. Is she going to own another home?
She's not going to buy a home right now. She's not sure because she's not sure. She's going to stay in Texas for a while, but she may move out to another country.
Okay. Well, in that case, she can leave her homeowners, because as soon as she takes that to another property, then the property taxes go through the roof and change the numbers dramatically, right? So if she can leave her homeowner's exemption, you know what I'm talking about, right? Whatever that homeowner's exemption that makes the Texas property taxes palatable, it's really devastating for investors in my, you know what I mean? Okay, never mind. So let's just go through a couple numbers. So basically, what do you think is a good down payment to keep, if she's going to carry paper on this thing? So she can get top dollar. She can probably sell it on herself without a realtor, although, like I said, they can be so valuable in just making sure that process goes smoothly if they get it. Maybe, but anyway, so let's say she can sell it for $290 and she doesn't have to pay a realtor. And she can sell a lot more quickly, right? So because the best amenity that you can add to a property is financing that's ready to go, because we all know that sometimes it can be a real pain to qualify, and there's a certain segment of very, very capable borrowers, especially self-employed people, that are very financially capable, but have a tough time getting bank financing. I would be one of them. I mean, I will never ask a bank. I mean, I don't even, I could probably qualify, but I don't even know. And I would never even try, because it's just so much brain damage to me. So that's why I do everything with mom and pop, right? Owner financing, notes, private money, JV partners, things like that. So what do you think, Shirley, would be a safe amount of money for her to take down from someone so that they really have skin in the game, that creates hard cash equity, hard equity?
I would say at least 10%. So that would be
that's a minimum.
Okay.
That's a minimum.
Okay.
That's the minimum. And especially if she's thinking about going out of the country and doesn't want a long distance headache, I would really push for 15 or 20. There's a reason why 20% is conventional financing, because at the time you take 20% down, the statistical likelihood of financial loss or default or anything goes way, 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 way down. Okay, but 10% is okay, but I would push for more, right? So, because we don't want her to have to come back to Texas if she's in Timbuktu somewhere.
Yeah. So
let's just say she gets that 20% down. Mm-hmm. So then she has an 80%. So if there's 232 left on the table, then what I would say is she can use a trust. If her existing loan is FHA or conventional or VA or anything, do you know?
I believe she brought it FHA.
Okay, so she can't wrap that note. So she can't do a AITD. The title companies and all that, they're not allowed to do that these days. So you would have to use a trust. But you can see if she owes the underlying $100,000, then she's got 132,000 of equity. Okay, so let's just see, what do you think a buyer who could put 20% down, what do you think that they would agree to in this price point as an interest rate?
If they're coming, I'm thinking probably about 5%.
That's what I was going to say. What do you think that they can afford? This type of person in this neighborhood that has 20% down, what do you think they can afford?
Monthly? Are we talking about?
Yeah. For PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance.
Insurance. I'm thinking probably about 2,500.
Okay, that's fair. How much would it rent for if she just got a renter?
I believe it would rent for about 1,700.
Okay, so so that's fair. You pay a little more, but you get the tax deductions. So you can see at that rate, like she could amortize this over, what is that, 16 years, 192. So she could even do better for someone, depending on what she wants, to make it even more affordable. She could say, let's just amortize over 20 years.
Okay.
That gives some breathing room to that homeowner. They have the right to pay down the loan faster, but if they have some repairs that month, at least the PITI is if they can afford the 2,400, we needed to back out the taxes and insurance. So this is probably a much better number. If she went 360, that's what people are used to. Then this gives a lot of room for taxes, insurance, and the repairs that come up, and she could be making this money. So then we have to go, what's the underlying look like? If she's got a balloon on the underlying, which I doubt if it's FHA, we have to match the balloon so that she doesn't have a cash call on her underlying and get stuck with this borrower, right? Not having to. So if there's a balloon in 5 years, she's got to create a balloon in 5 years in this. Yeah. So I don't think, so my guess is her underlying might be less than 1,000 or 1,000, 1,200 with taxes and insurance. So here she can move out of the country with 20% cash, lesser closing costs, and have a passive, probably $500 to $700 a month, leaving her money in place. So the short answer to your question is yes, it's possible. There's a lot of different ways to put that deal together, and some that may be specific to Texas. Like Texas isn't super friendly to lease options, but you can get the equivalent of wraps, lease options using a trust, just depending, but then you both got to trust whoever the trustee is. That's the big piece with that one. Who's going to be the trustee? It's got to be an entity or a person that both people trust. So anyway, but it's a great conversation. Thank you for bringing that up. But does that answer a question? Like, just the more down, the better. If run their credit, have them fill out a 1003, run it through Texas Pride over there. And I know there's other companies, and I know Ashley was going to give me the name of another one. I'm going to put it up in my links to resources, because there's at least a couple, 3 in Texas who can act as NMLS or MLO. So even if you put it in a land trust, I would still underwrite them, take their credit, make sure they can afford it, so that if you ever get pulled into court, you can prove that you weren't being predatory to someone. Okay. And you set everyone up for a win-win. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you for bringing that up. I hope that helped a little bit. But the short answer is yes. There's all sorts of things we can do if we're flexible. In fact, I had a gal call me yesterday, and she's one of my borrowers, actually. She was in a jam. She was like right up against foreclosure here in Nevada, northwestern Nevada, Hawthorne, Nevada. She had a 6-plex, and she had owner carry note with the maturity date was coming up, and she was in a jam. She could not get the financing. She was like this close to losing it, and I figured out a solution. It wasn't what she thought, but we solved the problem just in a different way. And now that she's come back to do another deal with my investing partner, the lender that I brought in, the private money partner that I brought in. They did another deal together, maybe two, and now she came back yesterday and says, "Hey, I got this deal where these people want to buy my house, but they need financing. It's like a mobile home on land, and the problem it is financeable, but it would take. They need some time to build up their credit." And she goes, "Do you know any?" I said, "I have somebody who wants to loan money. They just inherited. Oh no, they got this big settlement for, is that what is that when that disease when you're a miner? There's a lot of old miners here in Nevada. Anyway, they got a settlement for basically dying in their jobs, the silicosis or something. Sad." But anyway, got $1 million coming in. They want to help this person, make the loan, and they're willing to do it at like 6-7%. But there's all this Dodd-Frank stuff that says you shouldn't make a consumer loan. Like it's Dodd-Frank has made it so that, and you can thank your congressman for this, but made it so that it's dicey. It is very dicey. It is something we just don't do as private investors to make consumer loans. So I never loan against someone's primary residence. And you know what? Maybe Dodd-Frank should be there because there are predatory people, and I would hate for people. I actually didn't really think there was much of that, but like I'm in the middle of suing a big lawsuit that's taking more than a year of someone who is like literally evil in this space and extremely predatory. And I guess my my contribution to draining the swamp. But anyway, just saying. So I said, they probably shouldn't make a loan. That's not really good for them. But how about you carry the paper? So she's saying, Maria, she's like, I said, Maria, it's super simple. Don't have your friend make a loan to your borrower. You carry the paper at the exact same terms and just have your friends buy the note off of you at par, meaning no discount, right? Whatever the balance is, that's what you get in. So it's super simple. And she goes, "Oh, I don't know how to do that." Well, it's the simplest thing ever. But wow, I really got off on a tangent there. But I'm just saying there's so many easy slam dunk ways. Once your mind is opened up to how the secondary market works for notes, it just makes it so obvious that there's so many super simple solutions. So she's going, "Oh, that's great." And I said, I can either just charge you a consulting fee to watch over that and make sure it goes right so that you're comfortable with that. Or we can work out a deal. How about if you got $1 million of 6% money, how about you refinance one of my long-term holds for me and we'll work a deal. So anyway, just one mom and pop thing, just one deal. She found me on Craigslist. I helped her in a jam on her sixplex, and that's worked into 2 more deals with my private partner. Looks like another deal maybe for me. Who knows? These are relationships that when we cultivate them can just be amazing, right? So I want people to do in their communities what I get to do here because it's super fun. And yeah. All right. So what else? Axel, since I'm losing my brain, is there anything, bring me back to center. Is there any comments to?
To Shirley, there's just a comment from. In general? Okay.
Yeah.
Charlie is with us. If you want to bring Charlie on, he did get on the call.
Fantastic. Okay. Anything else besides that? Okay. Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Don. How you doing?
You made it, my friend.
Just a few minutes late, as usual. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Go ahead.
So I actually talked about your deal a little bit before you got on, I think. But is there anything you just wanted to bring up or clarify here? Or just clarify what you're doing for the benefit of everyone?
clarify what I'm doing as far as in general, or on a specific deal, or what?
Is there any reason that you're on the call today, for instance? Because I know the deal we were talking about, the live conferences and stuff.
Well, let's see. Let me ask kind of a general question that might help me as well as a lot of other people. I would hope is if you need money or whatever, real estate deal or art operation or whatever, and you own a piece of property. Now, in the situation where, like, I'm doing, if I have existing notes on real estate, then I can turn around and sell those notes on the note market through a thing called Paper Stack is basically what I use.
Let me break that up.
Online.
I've never been on there. Paper Stack. Paperstack.com. I should add that to the links to resources. Axel, can you make a note that we do that? Is this it? Paperstack.com? P-A-P-E-R.
Am I supposed to be able to see something here? I'm just listening.
Not you. You're on the phone.
Oh, okay. Okay.
How do you spell Paperstack? I'm not bringing up anything.
Well, it's Paperstac. And actually, you have a glimpse of what a computer klutz I am, so I have never gone on it myself. I got a guy that helps me with it who's got a brain, and he gets on there some way. He's shown me what's on there, and for example, notes that I have on lots that I financed years ago or whatever. We just list we should put a copy of the contract and then a copy of the payment history and location of the property and what the heck else. Well, basically just anything that we have that, a note buyer would be interested in seeing. And a lot of times they come up with stuff, that we hadn't even thought of. And so, we put that on there. And so that's listed on the PaperStack platform. And
yeah, I got it up online right now. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And they just started a few years, or I don't know, a couple of years ago, something like that. So they're not nearly as ignorant about their format as I am about mine, but it is a new one, and they're changing and improving it all the time. But anyway, so for example, I as a note holder list some notes that I'm interested in selling, and I put on there what price I want for them, and people go on there and they say, oh, well, this looks like something good. It's been seasoned, it's a few years old. The payments have all been made exactly on time.
Right.
It gives me a 12% return. I think I'll buy it. So then they contact us through PaperStack, and then we just complete a deal there. So that's sort of the standard existing.
Have you been? Hey, Charlie, have you been? So how many notes have you sold through this platform?
I've only put up 4, and I sold all 4 of them. I'm beginning to put up some more. I'm trying to coordinate some of this stuff with 1031 exchange. Go ahead.
Yeah. So do you mind, just for kicks and giggles for our audience, can you give me an example of a note? I want to put up one of your notes and then show what it sold for and just run through that. Will you indulge me with that, Charlie?
Well, actually, because they didn't have everything quite set up, it's been several months ago, they just said, I called them up and I said, I got somebody who wants to buy this note, I don't know how to do it. And they said, well, we're still working on some of that, so just go ahead and do it and we'll put it on there later. So I don't think any of those 4 notes actually show up on there, but they were the mechanism to get it done. And the only thing that's different than the way it actually should be is it's not showing on their platform, but you could pull up.
Oh, that's
we
okay.
have.
All I want, hey, all I want is, okay, give me what you sold. This is a parcel, vacant land that you subdivided the bigger one, made a smaller one, and sold it on terms. So what was the sale price? What was it, 1 acre, 5 acre? Give me an example.
No, the ones we sold were 1 acres, and boy, I think one of them had a balance of about 15,000 on it or something, and we sold it.
Now, so what did you sell? Okay, Charlie, what did you sell that 1 acre lot for? What did you sell the 1 acre lot for?
My memory is not what it should be. I think I sold you mean originally sell it or sell it on paper stack?
No, originally when you sold it to the borrower, to the buyer.
All of those lots in that subdivision were sold for $19,900 originally.
So $20,000. And how much of a down payment did you take?
$500.
So you only took $500, which is really small. I mean, that's not even 10%, is it? Or let's see.
Nope, it's half.
500 divided by.
2,000. It's a quarter of. It's 2.5%.
Oh man, so this is FHA financing on land. This is not usual. Who are the types of people buying this?
Most of the people that now the location of this subdivision is in West Texas, between a couple of cities. One is Seminole, Texas, and the other one is Hobbs, New Mexico. It's just about halfway between. And now I lost my track of thought. You get me so rattled. No, I don't know. That's a joke. What was I getting at there? You said, what was your question to me?
Okay, no, I was just wondering the typical buyer, who's buying these that's putting 500 down?
Typical buyer. Okay, that's in sort of a farming, used to be farming exclusively. Now it's a oil patch, largely majority. So a lot of Hispanics who are my favorite buyers because they're so reliable and good to work with and everything. So most of them are Hispanics. Some people buy it to put a house on. I mean, I've sold lots, to manufactured home dealers, and they bring a manufactured home out there and sell it along with the lot. They buy some lots they buy for cash, of course, but the finance ones generally are people that want to, they have a manufactured home they want to put on there, or they just want to buy a lot and pay on it till it's paid off and then put a house on it. Everything in the world, but most of the buyers are Hispanics.
Okay, so now I've got a note for 19.4. What are the terms on that note?
12% interest, $500 a month, and
500 down, 500 a month,
and 19.4 balance, 12% interest. So I can't remember how long it takes to amortize it.
It just looks like a month and a third, 49.35 months. So basically in 4 years, they own it free and clear.
Yep.
And so so then when you've sold the notes, how long have they been seasoned generally?
Well, again, this is off the top of my head, but I was thinking it took more like 4 or 5 years to pay that off.
Yeah, it does. But 4 years.
Some of them, had a couple of years seasoning on them. It just, what I did actually is I got my assistant. I said, pull up the best paying record notes that we have, and I want to sell those first. And so it didn't matter about how long they had been there. If they had a perfect paying history, which all of these did, then I put those on there because I'm starting out and I want to, start out with good stuff. So.
Okay, so Charlie, so then if this note that we just created Then the balance, the UPB was about $11,000 at that point after 2 years. Sound about right?
Sounds right. Yeah.
Okay, so just make up a number. What do you think you sold for that note for?
If the unpaid balance was 11,000, that's what I sold it for, 11,000.
So you actually sold it at par?
Yes.
Right?
All 4 of them.
Okay.
Yes.
All 4 of them, you got par for them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's somebody who's basically saying the total interest they made, so they tied up 11,000 to make 1,500 in interest. But I guess it's pretty safe when you got the history. But you can see from this amortization, if you're looking at the screen, you can see from the amortization that you got to put out $11,000 on this deal plus closing costs, I guess. And most of the payment, because of the short amortization, when you only got 26 payments left, most of that's principal. So you can see you're tying up the money just to make $100, $100 a month or less in interest as it goes down here. So, but it's a fairly safe play, right? Because, okay, I might not be making a lot of interest for doing this deal, but it's better than nothing, right? And it's safe because every month that borrower is paying down their principal faster and faster. So there's a balanced risk reward there. So that's excellent, Charlie, that you could get par on those. And for anyone who's listening,
they go really fast.
Right.
They don't stick around there at all.
Yeah, like that's good to know. And people who want to get in, have only a little bit of money. Here's a way you can get started. Is take a little bit of money, buy these notes. Yeah, they're secured only by land. Someone that only put down $500, but it's quickly amortizing. You can make a few $100. Like in this deal, someone at the end of 2 years will have made $1,500. Let's just see. So that's $750 a year. If we just take it like that, $750 a year divided by the amount of money that they left on the table, that's a 7% cash on cash return. You could look at it like that, and that's what, 7 times or more what they'll give you if you leave it in the bank, right? So anyway, that's really interesting. Thank you for bringing that up. Before we just move on with the last few minutes, is there anything else? Because I couldn't give you that. I mean, because the way I use my money, it has to work harder than that. But there's a lot of people that this would be a great deal for, right? Because I'm looking at, if I'm going to tie up 11 grand, because I'm in the business, I need to create a spread, whatever, put groceries on the table. Someone brought me this, and I would have to discount it a little bit, right? Because you got closing costs, plus it's like, it's got to be worth the time for me to put the deal together. So I might even just, and you have I just want to tell you that you're doing good selling these at par. You're doing real good selling these at par. I might have to buy them at 80 cents. Then what would my yield be? Yeah, I would have to buy them at a much higher yield. That way, for tying up the same, tying up the capital, I'm making closer to 4,000 in interest instead of 1,500 in interest, right? So you're doing good. I don't know that you can beat that. That paper thing's great.
It is really great. And, I think there's one of them on there. I think the equity is like 45,000 or something like that. So, anyway, they come out at all kinds of unpaid principal balance. But anyway, that's roughly the deal.
Oh, I really appreciate that. So anyone, if you're trying to sell notes, go list them on PaperStack and see what happens.
Absolutely.
There was one somebody who asked, hey, how can I submit a note to the NoteQueen? On my page, I've already told you I can't beat the pricing that Charlie just got, right? So go try PaperStack if you got a note to sell. You can see here, sell my note now, what's it worth, blah, blah, blah. You can check on that, submit a note to my site. So anyway, I think I forget how to click on my own site. Okay. Anyway, thank you for that, Charlie.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate it. I really enjoyed listening, so it's great.
Yeah, I hope you and Ashley or you and Terrell or somebody can come up with working out a deal that you're both happy with.
I'm calling them this afternoon.
Fantastic.
Thanks. And
all right, keep
me posted. Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Take care, Charlie. So anyway, OneNote, content, purchasing properties by creating notes. Purchasing, that was Charlie. Okay, I'm on a shoestring budget. This is from Robert Shine. I'm on a shoestring budget. How can I learn notes through the cheapest way and also through others? Okay, so I've already showed that there's a lot of content you can start learning from on my site. There's just so much, it's just ridiculous. If you'll spend the time, if you're on a budget, then you have time. Hopefully, if you don't have money, you have time, because if you'll spend the time, you can learn everything you need to know almost for free or for very little. I will still say, to really make it in the business or just to make your best investments, you have to go. You have to get out and meet people and talk to people and create relationships. Relationships is everything. But you can be a passive note investor by hooking up with other rainmakers, right? Hard money brokers in your area, note brokers, people that are putting these deals together. Charlie, he's a rainmaker. He's creating these notes that you can buy. You can see a little bit. If you have just a little bit in your account, you can make a 12% return. And it doesn't mean you're making a lot of money, but it's still a reasonable amount of money for the amount of risk and having a little bit of money. If you'll go through and like these transaction review and calculator practice videos that I did are very good. Anyway, like I said, ton of free content there. I would also say some of the people that sell really cashflowdepot.com is great to go there. I'm gonna let my internet come up. Papersourceonline.com. So there's a lot of people. Is this Tracy Z's? There's Note. So the Paper Source, go connect with these people. Papersourceonline.com. Okay, one of the more trusted names. C brings this up. We'll send you a checklist. I think they have like a free course. There's that. Cashflow Depot. Go over there, check that out. A lot of Jack Miller's stuff is here. Check out Jack Miller stuff. A lot of the people that influenced me were Jack Millerite type people, or just good old Texas boys that just loved sharing the industry. And they weren't big gurus, not making a lot of money, but they knew how to make above average returns using real estate notes. And they just loved sharing and educating. And they changed my life. I was floundering. I was really floundering between that, quitting my W-2 job and making it as an entrepreneur. You need help. You need guidance. You need inspiration. So these are the people. And then I want to say, I can't remember, is it noteinvestor.com? Gosh, I hope I have, Axel, any of these things that I'm saying that I don't have in my links to resources, will you help me remember to put them there? So hopefully you're taking notes here. I want to say, yeah, these people are good too. Noteinvestor.com. Okay, so just if you have the time, if you don't have money, you got to spend the time, and you have to respect other people's time too. Like some people go, I don't want to take I don't have money, and I don't want to take the time to read all the free content you put out there. I just want to send you an email and you hold my hand for free. I can't do that. I must, so you have to have respect for the people that are putting out content. I don't make money, on this part of it. It's intangible, sort of. I'm positioning myself, right? I'm hosting this conversation. I have the live events, but really I make money just being a small mom and pop operator in my community. So I have to focus my time and energy on the things that bring deals in, note deals, property deals. In fact, I've got a couple appointments this coming week where it's like, hey, we've been sitting on the MLing to do owner financing. Please come help us. Come help us. We're done with this whole realtor gig. We're willing to offer terms to consider owner financing, either lease option or wrap or land trust, something like that. Please come help us. We just need out. So, and then a deal I had last week, unfortunately it fell apart because the HOA precluded, killed the deal, the HOA guidelines. But I had a guy that was just like, hey, I have this fully furnished little condo townhome unit. I'm willing to let you take over my existing financing. I'll take my equity out. It was like $30,000, and you can ride my financing for the next 29 years. So if the HOA hadn't killed that deal, because I was going to run it as an Airbnb, and they didn't like that. They didn't like that. So anyhow, it's just how I think. So it's out there. It's out there. And don't be afraid to ask for what you want. Sometimes we limit ourselves because we think, oh, well, I wouldn't do that, so this seller of the property won't do that. That's not true. There's people that sell for nothing down, 0 down and 0 interest. I know because I've bought some notes that have 0 interest. So it's like, I haven't been brave enough to ask for that yet. And I go, I need to add that. Sometime I'm going to ask for 0% financing. But anyway, so thank you so much. Again, it's been an hour. I love this time with you. I just want to remind you to use your powers for good and go out there and create financial solutions, just one mom and pop to another. All right, take care. See you, oh my gosh, next month. I think I only have, I don't even know. I'm gone. I'm actually gone out in the wilderness for 8 days in November. So we might catch up at a different time. But anyway, who cares? Have a great one. Take care. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Virtual Coffee with Dawn Rickabaugh. For more, please visit NoteQueen.com.